I
Are
think
we live
so.
yet?
Oh,
All
Rodrigo
right.
just became a member. Perfect.
Oh, Rodrigo, thank you.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you to
fantastic.
me, not, not him.
Well, I
I
mean,
mean,
listen.
you don't get anything for that.
Uh, I've been
Yes.
off X, so maybe I've missed the hullabaloo. But have you heard of auto research? It's called.
I saw that it. I was just about to ask one of my
What?
models, what is it? I
Fair
don't know
enough.
anything about it.
All right. Have you heard about Ralph Loops?
Yes.
All right. It's not that, but it's close. Sorry, I'm a little bit out of focus here. There we go. Um, Essentially what it is three files. There's a program.md, so like what your goal is. You just call it goal.md. That should be fine. There's a training Python file, and then I think the other one is like the task runner Python file. So imagine a loop that runs for
Mm-hmm.
5 minutes, trains for 5 minutes. That's its max execution. So you want to have smaller problems, and it feels like infinite rerolls, but we'll talk about that in a second. So imagine that you're rolling your die and you want to get a good result. So you're praying to the LLM gods that you're going to get a good result. The one that Karpati shared is, I think it's called Tiny Stories. It's a small data set of a bunch of stories that I think always have Lily as the character who is like the main character in the story. So in your
Mm-hmm.
case, it could be your daughter's name or what have you. So there's smaller children's stories, not unlike Grimm's fairy tales in that they've got sort of that standard arc. So things are going
Okay.
well, things go bad, and then there's a lesson to learn at the end, something like that.
Right.
Typically around maybe a paragraph, two paragraphs, three at most, kind of thing. It's quite short. It's like 500 words, I
Mm-hmm.
think, is what I was looking at, and I think that's kind of the goal. Is 500 tokens, if I recall correctly, is kind of what you're trying to put in program.md. Something small, basically,
Mm-hmm.
that can fit inside of the context, allowing for room to continue the story or like to make a
Right.
story or what have you. And the key thing here is that 5 minute loop that I told you about, and that in let's say an hour, you could probably do about 10 of these. Now, I know you're not great at math, but let's just say like 12 should be the goal for an hour. The problem between the loops is, of course, you got to look at the data, rate the data, and then discard or keep it in a work tree. So one of the first problems that arose was if you've thrown an experiment out that's identical then to the one that you're going to make later, then you don't really need to evaluate it if you keep it around. So I think one of the key differences that happened, I don't know, like a week and a half ago, is that somebody created like a memory on the side that can do it. But either way, basically what you're doing is running about 10 loops per hour and hopefully about 100 per evening while you're sleeping. And when you wake up, you should wake up to a result that's better than what you started with. So basically, doing your research for you as you sleep. Now, Kaprati, I think, said that these are things, these little nudges and tweaks would be things that he would be doing, literally guessing a lot, trying to get through maybe a harness or trying to figure out what a model can do well, or maybe fine tuning or essentially steering
Mm-hmm.
the model itself, or recreating the model in order to test it. And he said it seems silly that you're just tweaking something like a random parameter and hoping for the best. But he said, honestly, this is kind of how I've worked for years. Like there's probably a better way to do it, but this is how it worked. And I've gotten pretty good results. I don't know, check my resume, whatever, like maybe just, but what's funny is that it works. So I was able to train it overnight. I went through and I tried a bunch of them. Funnily enough, the RTX version is the one that I get to work better than the others. So I tried on three Macs of varying degrees. So one with 64 gigabytes, one with 24, and one with 16, I think. So
Mm-hmm.
varying levels of memory. None of them actually did very well at all. I don't know if there was other things going on in the systems. One of them rebooted continuously. I think it was trying to use as much of that 64 gigs as possible. I was using Olama as a local model to train. I wasn't using Olama Cloud. And I think for the most part, it was Qwen 3.5 coder. I may be making stuff up. Qwen 3 point something. It wasn't just Qwen 3. And I was just going through and training them. The Windows one with the RTX, so there's a few different ports. There's one for AMD, there's one for NVIDIA on Windows, and then there's a Mac port. I think Karpati's is for Linux, and the Windows one runs on WSL, of course. I was only able to get the Windows one running, which I thought was really funny. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, just to run overnight and like not crash, especially because the 3090, and I had a 4090 on a Linux box. It just like it kept failing. It's just like nah, something crashed, what have you. But at the end of the day, I was able to essentially generate a story when I woke up in the morning that was coherent. Like I could read through it as a like
Hmm.
the English sentences made sense, and there was a lesson to be learned and some sort of thing that happened basically. And then of course I tried to get it to take Lily out of the story and put my spouse's name in instead. And of course it just can't, it can't make the
Mm.
story because like this is well beyond the corpus. Like it's very
Right.
small corpus. The other thing I tried to do is to get it to create like slide notes and things like that. And it's like, no, like the corpus is really just stories. Like I didn't understand what I was doing basically, but it's literally just stories about Lily that you can create. And I
Hmm.
think their friend Alan or Frank or something like that. But it's a bunch of tiny stories and you can fit them in there. And then I got to thinking like, oh, what is very like a tiny story? Is it a shell script? Is it a small app? Is
Hmm.
it what have you? So the next thing I did, because I can't get rid of this idea, I was like, look, Gastown is very so, okay, got stuck in my head. Gastown is very simple. I'm positive you can write this in a smaller language. What can you do? And I had to go off and give it a spider graph. And I said, like, the repo has to be tiny. The functions should be very small. These are literally just tasks. Like there's got to be some task engine out there that does this. And lo and behold, it came to me with Erlang, and I was like, "Oh, of all the things you could come up with, Erlang is it." And I think what it was rating on is like how small you can make Go code. That was one of the main
Oh,
things.
okay.
Like because Go code actually, I didn't realize this, but can compile down to quite a small binary.
Right.
And I guess maybe I set the LLM up for failure because this is a little bit hard to do. And it kept coming back and saying that Elixir was infinitely better than Go, and I was like, "Oh, hold my beer." I'm not convinced this is true because it was getting a score of 0 basically. So how if you're multiplying size by 0, then if you're going to 0 is your goal, then
Hmm.
obviously the lightest weight thing is going to be 0. Nothing
Right.
can trounce it. And I looked at the code and I was like, you didn't calculate anything here at all. You were just like, well, Beam takes care of everything, so the
Right.
code doesn't matter. I was like, well, did you write the code? No. I mean, okay, write the code. It's funny because you go through many generations, but it was like, no, we don't need to write the code. Elixir will just run on the Beam, and the Beam has all this stuff built in. I was like, yeah, but you need code. Like, you get a compiled to bytecode or what
So
have you.
I'm missing the whole point. What's
Are
the
you
whole
still
point
lost?
of this?
The point is to run experiments without doing it yourself.
Okay.
In this experiment, like one of the other ones that I did was like, make me a Linux kernel that boots as fast as possible.
Right.
Like, what do you need in the Linux? Like, do you need users? No. Okay, we can boot really fast.
Right.
Do you need networking? No. Awesome. Video drivers? No. Like we're getting super fast now, like down to milliseconds. So it's kind of like thinking about a premise or a thesis and trying to work towards that thesis. So
Okay.
scientific method is what we're talking about here. You
Right.
have to come up with a thesis, and depending on the thesis, it may or may not work. My thesis for Gastown was that it was way too big for something that I could probably describe to Matt in a couple of sentences. Like, Matt, I want you to do work, and if you come back to me with work that's not done, I'm going to keep telling you to do it or find somebody else. That's kind of
Right.
Gastown. It's just like that. That is Gastown. There's a lot more to it because of the way models work right now, but essentially that was the premise, that I was sure that you could essentially make markdown files and recreate Gastown. In fact, people have. That was my premise. And again, it's just because I'm a dog with a bone here, pardon the pun, but I really think it can be much smaller and may actually be something cool. But I think if we're in that orchestration layer era, then it might be something. Anyway, that was my experiment, but it could be others. Another would be like, can you predict plane trajectories or landings or what have you? Some of that stuff can be pretty easy. I'm saying this just because I've got an ADS-B antenna, which I'm sure I've talked about before, but I can track planes in the sky.
Right.
And, planes follow a schedule. So you should be able to predict it's going to land right around the same day the next day. And different airlines may have different like plus minus vectors that are. Anyway, that was another thesis that I had, but I haven't tested yet. I think that's it. Like if you've got something that you could prove, in my case, I guess once the model said that Elixir was faster than Go, it was like, well, maybe we've definitely got another experiment to test. So maybe I'll run that overnight. But it's interesting to me as somebody who recently was trying to figure out where programming languages are going, if that makes sense. Like if a programming language takes 10 to 15 years to get adoption, Elixir was definitely not on my list. I've been looking at Zig and Crystal. I think I've talked about Zig a little bit on the podcast before, but definitely was Elixir. Like Elixir wasn't on my radar. The other one was Rust, actually, and I
Hmm.
keep forgetting that Rust is actually pretty young, and that the adoption that it's got is actually pretty stellar for a language. So
Right.
it's kind of like looking forward to where I should be thinking in order
Right.
to support developers who are going to be going down the same path. That was my goal,
Hmm.
and then trying to figure out like which languages it picked. It did pick Zig, but it didn't do a very good job of compiling it, so I've got to get to run again. But essentially, that's it. So if you've got an experiment that you can break down into a small problem and describe, you should be able to have it running. I'll give you maybe a
And
better
is the
example.
goal
Yep.
for it to come up? I mean, if you have the experiment and you want to try
Yep.
100 variations on this, it's going to come up with the variations, or you're coming up with the variations?
It's coming up with the variations. Seriously.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point, is to come up with the variations, not necessarily to run the variations.
You
Or is it?
maybe
Okay.
because it could be part of your eval, right? It depends what your
Mhm.
eval is.
Hmm.
In this case, I told it you need to be able to run the code. Like
Right.
if you can't run the
Right.
code, like if it doesn't compile, for example,
Right.
then it's not done. Or if it doesn't
Right.
boot post compile, then it's also not done. So you have to define your criteria
Right.
for success in order to make sure that it aligns your evals basically. So you've got
Right.
hidden evals outside. May have talked about this last week, but the other one that I was doing was creating slide decks and saying like, how
Hmm.
far are you from slide template, and what does that look like? It didn't do so well with that. Multimodal is more difficult,
Hmm.
but I was running through experiments to say like, which Olama model can generate a better deck. I think I
Hmm.
ended up on LFH or something like that. There's a new model from Olama that for some reason I can't remember the name of it. It's quite new, and it came out last week. And what I was trying to do is convert things to MLX, and then LFM2 is the one. Convert things to MLX and see if they're faster
Hmm.
than GGUF. And I think you told me about this again 2 years ago. And yes, in fact, MLX is generally faster. And the one that I converted, which no one had at the time, was Nemotron 3 Super,
Okay.
and it was terrible.
Oh yeah.
Like I know everyone's saying it's amazing, but like at least with what I was doing,
Yeah.
which is writing code, it was not good. Like,
I have not been
good at all.
impressed with it.
Yeah, me either. I don't know what it's made
Yeah.
to do. It says it's like maximum compute efficiency and accuracy. Like it's super slow, and it's definitely not accurate. So I don't know which model they're using.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the one that I pulled down at least. So I
Mhm.
tried GGUF and I tried MLX, and I think it was 4-bit quantization. And maybe it doesn't quantize well. Like it could be something like
Sure.
that. Like maybe that's the issue. The other one though, LFM2 that I tried, and I think I tried this on the cloud actually, was quite good at code. Like it's like surprisingly good. And I think it's at the top of the list in terms of popular now, or it was when I looked yesterday. It is not. It is no longer that popular. Oh, it's not even on the top 10 anymore. It's way down. The thing about Olama is like things get popular really quickly, and then I guess they go away. But yeah, that's what I've been playing with this weekend. I think Karpati was just saying like, hey, this is just recently updated to run on one GPU. You should be able to do it at home.
Right.
Have fun over the weekend. And I guess that's catnip to me. So I was like, yeah, I can download it. I can clone a Git repo and run some code. Yeah. And it's really only 3 files, which makes it a little bit easier to rationalize in terms of like what's actually happening. So it's like train, run, and then your program.md.
Mm-hmm.
So can I tell you another example that I think might be a little bit more fitting? This is probably what I should have started with. Imagine you've got the entire corpus of Irish songs. So songs that were written in Ireland, could be folk songs, what have you. You've got all the tabular sheet music in something called the ABC format, which is actually pretty small. So imagine like if you've got a chorus in it, you can say like loop the chorus. You don't necessarily need to write it out in your sheet book as many times. It's also in ASCII format, so it makes it a little bit easier to rationalize when you're feeding it to a model, or output when you're grabbing it back. And there are players for this that you can upload. And I'm stealing this from a YouTube video. Please, by all means, go look for auto research and then ABC altogether. You'll find it. It's somebody training their model. So the first thing that they did was play one of the songs in tablature so you can hear the song. It's MIDI basically. So there's MIDI converters. It sounds like an Irish jig maybe, and then just gets the AI like, hey, generate one of these files. Here's one. Make a new one. It generated just absolute garbage, of course. Like you or I both playing the piano at the same time. Just cacophony, I think is the right word. or cacophony is how you pronounce it. So he starts running the model and then checks in halfway through, and it's like maybe gotten worse than the first
Hmm.
time, which is like it sounds hard to do, but like it like much worse. There's triplets in there and like some flares, but somehow that makes it sound just like actively bad. Like someone who knows
Yeah.
how to play the piano trying to play it to annoy you is what it sounds like let me play chopsticks, but like really badly just to
Yeah.
see if I can get a rise out of you. And then I think he ran for 30 iterations. So that would probably be, if there's 100 in a night, 30 iterations, be around 3 hours. And then after 3 hours, was able to produce like a jig that is similar to an Irish jig. So the key things here are one, the tablature is really small, so it fits within the
Hmm.
tokenization. Two, he had a complete corpus of like what he was talking about. I
Hmm.
think in Canada we've got like wax cylinder recordings, which might be fun to play around with, and I'm sure the US has like a not natural, national library where you can get older recordings as well that you could use
Yep.
for it.
Yep.
But essentially, what he was able to do is take that corpus, and because it's text, it's a little bit easier. Use that training to find patterns and repeat those patterns as an output.
Mm.
And so I guess the thesis is, could we train an LLM on a corpus of ABC notation jigs or songs and
Hmm.
have it output ones that the human thinks are good? Now that's a big problem because this is LLM as a judge, or
Right.
zero human research or whatever the new buzzword is, but there's no human in the loop. It You could say AI in the loop, though that doesn't make sense at all because the rest of the loop's all AI anyway.
Hmm.
Uh, so if you're using LLM as a judge, you've got to give them something that is concrete, I guess. And essentially, he ended up using the same, what was it, BPB, the same metric to say, like,
Okay.
was this close enough in proximity to what we had before or not? But it's up to you to define your metric, and you can have more than one, which makes the experiments quite a
Hmm.
bit difficult. You can get a bigger corpus, which means it's going to take longer. But essentially, just rolling, it's just random, essentially. And because it's random, you could land on the same solution multiple times. And if you don't remember it, you could just waste time over it. You could just
Right.
infinitely come up with the same bad solution. But I think the key here is the results. So since I think what he's saying is that most AI labs would be doing the exact same thing, but with like
Right.
H100s or what have you, like Grace Blackwell GPUs, that you can do this at home on smaller things might give us pause instead. We've talked
Right.
about weather a lot, for example. Could we make a weather predictor? Probably not. Could you
Right.
get close? Like maybe as a guideline, or like a
Yep.
farmer's almanac. I think is what I always try to
Hmm.
when we're talking
Hmm.
about weather. But you could probably feed it the farmer's almanac because it's small, and then you
Hmm.
can use that as a way of predicting weather. That is
Right.
like a point of comparison. So
Right.
the almanac said this, we said this. Is probably somewhere between because of seasonality, et cetera, et
Yep.
cetera. Like a way to steer it, essentially. But yeah, I think this is amazing. I agreed. If you haven't played with it, it's a little bit hard to imagine. But being able to, you can kind of trace back basically like how a Sora might work, or maybe how what are those song ones? I always forget the names of them. Oh shoot! But anyway, how
Oh,
the music ones work.
Suno.
Suno, thank you. It's exactly what I was thinking of. I said
Yep.
Sora instead. It starts with S. But you can kind of think about how that would look like getting
Right.
back to it. And Stable Diffusion doesn't work this way. It's actually something different. But you can kind of think of how Stable Diffusion might look like this.
Right.
And in fact, I think it's like Nano Banana actually uses a different diffusion method that might be more
Hmm.
similar to this than Stable Diffusion. Anyway, food
Hmm.
for thought, but it's a way of doing research autonomously. It's pretty easy to rationalize. The
Right.
program.md is very easily readable. If you don't like Python, I'm sure you can port it to TypeScript, or somebody probably has
Right.
already. It's really all you're doing is instructing the model what to do with the instructions, very easy, and then what to modify, what parameters to tweak after
Right.
the experiment's done. And really, it's kind of a dice roll. It could be like length, depth, breadth, width. It could be a whole bunch of different things that they change in terms of the model size. But yeah,
Cool.
someone said Happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy.
Is that today?
It must be. I thought it was 2 days ago. Was it not the 15th?
I don't know.
Oh, it's got to be today because the Google Doodle is.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, 17th. Well, here we go.
Okay.
Thank you. Obviously, Anthony Fye, we are out of touch and don't know what
Yeah.
dates are. Aside from ISO 8601, as we discovered last week.
So then he has a question. I currently have
Oh,
a
sure.
project. I'm in a quandary. Security, for example, as scrapers or abusing the AI that would be connected. Do I trust Grok, Codex, etc. advice, or do I speak to a white hat security specialist?
I don't know if you need a white hat to to do with security. I think your goal is to avoid people who might hack you in return. The so I don't know about
I don't know what the
Grok.
actual question is.
Okay, so here I can explain what I read here. So I've got a project, me, Ryan.
Right,
And I'm in a quandary.
right,
I've put it on the internet, and my worry is that there could be like a wallet attack. So somebody could
yep,
come to my website and essentially use my site so much that
yep,
I'd run out of cash. And then scripters are abusing the AI with Open
right.
Connect. Do I trust blah blah? The advice. I mean, no. I mean,
No,
no,
yeah,
no, no. That don't. I wouldn't even talk to a security specialist. I would actually think about what you're doing, and it sounds like you actually need controls inside of your app. Security for sure, but like inside of your app, this is something that you need to think
yeah,
about as like a base problem. And
yeah,
it could be that Codex can guide you, but I think
yeah.
it's the design, the architecture that you need to think of.
So I wouldn't trust any model with. I mean, I would ask it for its advice and like
Yeah,
use its advice, but
yeah,
it's not going to be 100%. And
correct.
but then it's interesting that this question. I mean, because one of the things I wrote down was
Oh no,
actually something that
cloud
is
security.
exactly yeah. Because so there's this video I saw. I think I saw it today. How to make sure your apps don't get hacked.
Right.
And that's the title of this of the video.
Don't
And
publish them.
apparently this guy
Problem solved.
released apparently this guy released an app, and it uh he had a few different ones. One a while back that what that was on AWS, and it managed to like in 1 month he managed to get to a $30,000 bill. Got AWS to reduce that down to 2,000, which was still painful since it was him personally. But then he had something else where um yeah, something got a key got leaked, and the problem he had was that he was using Supabase on the back end, and
Right.
Supabase would have the. I'm not sure if it was just the way he implemented it or one of the reference applications had the front
Hmm.
end talking directly to Supabase,
Oh.
and then all of the rate limit and level of the application was in the same row as the rest of the user data, and so the user could get access to their data and overwrite and basically say, well, I'm no longer on this limited plan but on this higher plan, um, and abuse the system, and he got a hefty charge. So what was interesting was how he used the different models to kind of help troubleshoot, or not
Hmm.
troubleshoot, but get ideas for
Hmm.
um, how to fix the problems. And he asked, he for this one about the I think it was talking about row level security,
Hmm.
and for that specific problem, he asked the model the exact question, and it said, "Well, it looks all good," and it was not.
Yeah. Right.
Um, and so yeah, it was an interesting video I can't remember the guy's name, but that was the title, and it came out like in the last day or two, I
Oh,
think.
right on.
Um, so
I think they're just again like we're
yeah,
it's corpus is missing. Like also some of the stuff is brand new, so it's not
yeah,
going to be in the
yeah,
corpus either. Like cutoff dates are generally last year.
yeah.
This year is like everyone's saying like set fire to your environment variables this year. Anything sensitive shouldn't be in
Hmm.
envars now. Is the current thing. Move everyone to OAuth. We've been saying this for 30 years, but like right on. Let's go. No plain text credentials, I think is another thing. And
Yep.
then speaking of Supabase, in particular, having used V0 a lot, one of the nice things V0 would often recommend, and this might be in the system prompt, is using, it's got like an edge service in Supabase that you can actually use to be like a middleware platform for you,
Hmm.
which can do things like grab environmental variables, but no one has access to that. They've only got access to the front end. So it's the front end talking to the middleware that then talks to the database, or like a short-lived credential vendor. Like I thought V0 actually did a really good job of setting up Supabase in a way that, to me at least, looked right. It did not put everything in the same table, definitely not the same row. Maybe I told it third normal form or something like that, but like it does feel like maybe the model does have something to do with it. I guess I agree with you. It's probably like the system prompt or what have you. So maybe a skill would have helped here, but then again, like if you don't know about the attack vector,
Yeah.
you won't know what skill you need to put in there.
So I just put it in the chat. It's a guy named
Saw that.
Chris Raroque, Raroque.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, so it was interesting that that was the question that was like, I wrote this down
Mhm.
to like mention this. Um, yeah,
Wow, this is cool.
yeah.
Uh, so I think, hmm, I guess the other thing that kind of interests me is like, have you done any red teaming with like an app, like
No,
a codec, anything like that? No.
no.
That's kind of the next space that I'm in because I've done so maybe the thing that stuck in my craw is the white hat security specialist here. Like white hat just means that they're probably not going to do any harm.
Right.
I don't know if they're going to be the people we want. It feels to me like what I actually want is a black hat engineer to like break my app
Mm-hmm.
and then teach me where things are wrong. And red teaming is typically what you do there. Blue teaming would be the
Right.
defense side. Red teaming would be the attacking side. It feels like defense in depth against Gen AI
Right.
would be literally letting it loose on your stuff because as far as I can tell, people are fuzzing already with models.
Yeah.
So like, if you're going to defend against something else, do it that way. But I still want to like just maintain that the you can build your architecture in ways that like, regardless of what happens, they can't get the keys to the
Right.
castle. And I think that's something that should be
Yeah. I mean,
internalized.
I think I mentioned last week about the workout tool that I kind of
Yeah,
created to
yeah, yeah,
help
yeah.
me make sure I do the right workouts or the right
Mhm.
weights that for how based on how much I've done recently.
Right.
And in doing the I basically said, here's the har file for logging into the site. Go ahead and
Mhm.
create something to automatically download the stuff. And what it did was, I mean, it pretty quickly came up with not the how to interact with the app itself, but well, here's your credentials. Just log straight into Supabase and download and do the query on the database. Like, how is that? How do I have? I mean, I should not be able to see Supabase. I mean, I should be working with the app. So I thought that was a little crazy.
I think I told you my open claw story where it was like looking on my network for things with SSH ports that were advertising over MDNS and
Hmm.
doing ARP sniffing. Like that was fantastic if you're like consulting and going to
Yeah,
check out a new network. It's scary if it's an agent you've just installed and are trying to
yeah,
lock down. Like it's the capabilities are certainly there. It's more about like the motivation or like the intent. You've got to give your LLM the intent. Like our goal is to secure the system, not to like completely break
right,
into Matt's app provider and steal all their data. Like
yeah.
this is not our goal. We're like, cool, moving on. Let's see. Okay, there we go. So Anthony says that they've got a friend in security.
Yeah,
Okay, so yeah,
cool.
maybe worth bouncing off that. But I would say
Yeah,
like ideally look at your like the infra, look at the architecture,
right.
think about a way where they could never get the keys, where it's like
Hmm.
never a thing. It could be short-lived
Yeah,
credentials, a credential vendor. I'm not gonna like well, maybe I will. I'll name drop Okta here. Or like there are providers that do these things for
hmm,
you. There's key passes out there in the open source
hmm,
area. There's like a lot of stuff you could use instead of this.
yeah,
I think one of the main things Kubernetes, unfortunately, I'm rolling my eyes a little bit here. Hopefully you can catch that. Is like Kubernetes provides a lot of these built-ins for you. It's a very
right.
complex system, but like when you're thinking about deploying these, it's like if it's on the cloud, they've probably got a login method for you. I think
Yep.
Microsoft's have Entra these days as well. There's lots of stuff you could do basically. Um, I think when people are starting to build their apps, they forget that we've been doing this for a really, really, really long time, like since the
Yeah,
60s.
yeah,
It's like 60 years at this point in time. Like
yeah.
we've generally come across most of these problems already. It's
Hmm.
just that things look a little bit different today. This is
Yeah.
why I thought the Erlang and Elixir was funny because I think Erlang is 1986,
Yeah.
1985, and the Beam VM is like shortly after that,
Because
either like the same time or just early.
Erlang was for phone system.
Swedish, right? Or Ericsson? I think it
Oh
was
yeah,
Ericsson.
yeah. And it was
Ericsson
actually
Labs
for
created.
phone system like
Yeah,
logic for.
I think they came to the realization that they were paying more in software, and I'm kind of thinking this is Microsoft at the time. They're paying more in software than they were for hardware, which they could not believe, because this is like they're probably buying like massive switches,
right.
PBX systems. These are like really expensive hardware, and then they're like, but I'm paying Nortel like this much money, or I'm paying like Microsoft this much money. It doesn't
Right.
make any sense. And then they open sourced it as well, which is pretty cool.
It's like
But
how Netflix spends more time and money on their monitoring versus streaming.
really,
Yeah.
because they're trying to make that user experience
Yeah. I
better
mean,
and
that was the
better.
number like 5 years ago. I don't know if it's still the case, but two
Wow,
thirds two thirds of their AWS spend was on their monitoring systems, on the systems that were for monitoring versus their
gotcha.
systems for actually streaming content.
Wow. Yeah, and listen, I think other people are coming to this realization as well. I think the main thing, sorry to go too far down the Erlang path, but that beam system to me, it was like, wait a second, what do we get? Like I had
Yeah.
not heard of the beam before.
Yeah.
Like like did you know RabbitMQ was written with the beam? Like were you aware of this? CouchDB? Did
What?
like what? Yeah, like let's pull this up again here. So I was like, why are all these things in the ecosystem? I don't understand why RabbitMQ would be in here. Let me pull it up here just a little bit. What is Rabbit written
The
in?
beam?
Yeah, RabbitMQ is written in Erlang. Were you aware
Oh,
of
okay.
this?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
Erlang
know if
only
I
runs
mean,
on the beam.
the beam.
Like
What do you mean by the beam?
the beam is a VM that Erlang runs in that's got
Oh, okay.
primitives for like a
Okay.
mailbox. I think there's a queue. There's a few like
Right.
state
Okay.
is part
Okay.
of there. It's got like a database. It's called Amnesia.
Yeah.
Amnesia. Off to the side. Sorry, I definitely did a
Yeah.
deep dive into this, just trying to figure out what was going on. But I had no idea Rabbit was written in Erlang. I've
Yeah.
managed Rabbit,
Yeah.
and somehow I had no
Oh,
clue.
okay.
It just sort of works.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to
I assumed it was
know.
Java.
Yeah.
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 So there's that, and then there was was it CouchDB as well? Was the other
Hmm.
one, or maybe it's Couchbase? It could be Couchbase. It is in fact Couchbase.
Hmm.
Let's see here. If we look at Couchbase, I think it's also Erlang. Sorry, I'm really like a dog with a bone here. But basically, you get a lot for free if you're okay handing over 200
Right.
megabytes of memory to a VM.
Right.
And this is where like Erlang's smaller than Go. Like how big is the Go runtime? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's definitely not 200 megabytes. It's not even close. But yeah, I think it is in fact Erlang for Couchbase. The iOS version. The iOS version is all somehow Couchbase, which I find very interesting. Is all Erlang. Yeah. Anyway, just different companies using this stuff. I had no clue. WhatsApp, I think, was also written in Elixir or Erlang. Are you aware of this?
Hmm.
Do you remember eJabber, like Jabber, XMPP?
No.
Also Erlang. I was like, if you need to scale to like multiple thousands of connections, this seems to be the way to go. And like functional programming is definitely better than Python, right? Like,
I was looking to see if you mentioned a bunch of databases.
yeah.
A friend, I've mentioned it before,
Mhm.
wrote Influx, and
Right.
I was wondering if that was, but it doesn't
I
look
thought
like
it
it
was
is.
C. Is
Yeah,
it not?
no, I didn't think he was crazy enough to do that.
It's Rust. I mean, that's that's pretty close.
Rust? Is it?
It's Rust.
Huh. I didn't know Rust was old enough. I mean, Influx has been around a long time.
It has, in fact. I'm just looking to see.
Predates Datadog.
Does it?
Yeah. That was what early Datadog relied on it. I don't know if it still does, but
Yeah. I'm just looking at the history here. First commit was 2020 for this repo. Maybe they forked it and made it in Rust. Huh?
yeah.
Is that possible? Interesting. Yeah, I thought it was C.
Yeah. No, I have not ordered an M5 yet. I'm waiting for M5 Ultra on the Studio. And when that comes out, I'll get a Studio.
I think it's going to be expensive. put that down. Like I feel like you could buy a bunch of MacBook Neos and cluster them for
I
cheaper.
I mean, I think at the moment, I mean, if the studio came out, getting one of those and getting a Neo, I mean, that's like ideal.
That yeah, it's like the
Yeah,
best of both worlds. And then
yeah,
you get remote access to it. I've
yeah,
been thinking about a Neo as well, just because I want something
yeah.
for the couch. Like it's so dumb to say, but like legit, I want that second computer that I don't want to
And
like drop on the
and my
floor,
wife,
put
I
water
mean,
on.
she's gonna have a actual job in a few months,
Mhm.
and she said she needs a laptop, and the school is not a. I don't know if the school can buy it, but I think the MacBook Neo is like perfect for her kind of role. So it's awesome.
And she's in education. That's
Yeah.
$100
Oh yeah.
off.
Yeah. $100 off.
It's really hard to argue with the iPhone and the
Yeah.
LCD screen
Yeah.
tacked onto it. Like it's
Yeah.
yeah, and it can run LLM models. I'm not sure if you were
Yeah.
aware, which is like on device
On device.
MLX,
Right.
no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's mind boggling. What else did I have for you here? So I've been working with that. I've played around with this thing called Copilot CLI. Have you heard of this?
Oh,
It's a
okay.
small company called. You're not allowed to call them Microsoft. I'm not sure if you heard this, but like they shut
Oh.
down the Discord.
Oh,
To
really?
never. Yes, they got big mad about it. So the Copilot Discord is gone because people started calling them Microsoft, and they banned the word. Sorry, I thought I talked about this last week. I'll continue
I
on
mean,
the
I
rest of
think
the
you
story.
mentioned it, but I didn't realize it was like
It's gone.
officially. Oh, wow.
Gone. And I think, is it Lucky? The Copilot CLI was written by someone in the community who you may know of. I thought it was Lucky Evans. I'll pull it up in case I'm wrong. But yes, Copilot CLI is probably worth looking at it because, oh, my apologies. It is not. It is somebody else. I think it's Ryan Hecht. I'm so sorry. But Copilot CLI loves SQL. It's like really,
Hmm.
really interesting. So imagine you had to like write memory, for example.
Hmm.
You need to have a memory plugin for they're like SQL. Imagine you have to like pull up sessions and they're like SQL.
Right.
It's fantastic. There's SQL in a lot of things, and I'm not going to say this is a great CLI agent, but boy, is it good at SQL as a result.
Right.
Holy moly, it's like fantastic at SQL, and like not like SQL 97, but like many variants of SQL. And like
Right.
you can point it at Postgres, it will still work. It like understands databases, which is like very
Mm.
strange. I don't know to optimize a UI for databases. The other is that it's got a logo. I don't know if you've been to the thing. It's got a logo that's animated and everything like that.
Hmm.
When you bring it up in dark mode, it looks that's strange, very very strange.
Hmm.
It reminds me of like an EGA. Maybe that's why. Like it reminds me of a very old EGA or
Right.
CGA game graphics, and it is like a weird kind of like I get tingles, like I get goose flesh when I started up. So I was like, wait a second. It's like it feels like there should be computer beep noises or something going on. And anyway, I actually I can recommend this. I do think it's pretty
Okay.
good. It comes with a GitHub MCP server, which
Yeah.
needs to be like set on fire. Like get rid of
Yeah.
that right away because it's terrible. It uses all your contacts. As soon as you get in, and like I know why they used it. Totally understand. The GH command is way more than enough in
Yeah.
terms of context, but it is actually quite good. And this probably applies to you, doesn't apply to me. If you go to sign up for GitHub, I think it's premium and you've contributed to open source, when you go to sign
Mm.
up, it might say, because you contributed so much to open source,
Right.
you can sign up for free.
Hmm.
Now, listen,
Only
Matt,
on
I've
open source
contributed.
projects, right? Only if you're using it for that.
And no. You can get GitHub
Oh, really?
Premium
Okay.
for future use because you've previously contributed to open source projects. Now, listen, I've contributed a little bit here and there,
Right.
mostly README fixes. I did not get it for free. I had to pay $10 a month. But for that $10 a month, you get access to Opus through Copilot CLI, as
Okay.
well as Opus in the browser. And I think I've said like I paid for it because I felt bad about running the CI/CD test.
Right.
You get those for free with open source projects anyway. So like I barely touched my bill. It's really handy for SQL. Like I can't stress this.
Wow.
Like I don't understand why it's better at SQL, but it's actually really good. The other thing that's really good is it seems to have a memory that works because Claude, I don't know where it's storing the memories, but like often forgets. Maybe it's per project
Yeah.
and not global. I tell it to be global. often forget. What it did not forget, and I think we talked about this last week, it's
Yeah.
now running everything in new shell and
Yeah.
sometimes compiling, which is cool, but like it has not forgotten. It's forgotten everything else. Like new shell is the only thing it's remembered. It's like it's cool. I'm learning new
Yeah.
shell, but like that's the only thing it is remembered the whole time.
Well, I think
Uh,
I'm still the sixth most prolific or biggest contributor to Olama. So that's, I guess something.
while we're have a look, man.
Yeah.
It's free
Yeah.
stuff. Don't
Yeah.
leave change on the table. This is inference. This is like you can exchange this for cash now.
Yeah. Cool.
Hmm. Definitely worthwhile. So there's people like Jeremy on our team who you probably
Right.
recall from
Yep.
Datadog was
Yep.
able to get it for free. Our
Okay.
Polito, our head of
Yeah.
open source program
Yep.
office, also got it for free. We've got a few open source
Yeah.
heavy hitters on the community team who could sign
Cool.
up. I was not in that
No.
list. I definitely
Okay.
had to pay, unless if I log in and look and I'm not being billed anymore. But
Yeah.
I think it was 6 months ago I signed up, and I'm definitely being billed.
Um, you
Mm.
know,
I
callbacks.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do know that. Can I say the bad thing?
Yeah. What's the bad thing?
The bad thing is it chews through your usage
Oh.
at 1 megabyte. It's sorry, at 1 million. It's awful. Like it really will chew through your usage. You could in an evening with just agents, not agent teams, you could run through your
Hmm.
whole weekly usage with that context.
Yeah.
It's good. I would suggest getting used to 200K
Yeah.
because once you get used to one mil, it's like it's a different way of working.
Yeah.
So you clear less, you compact less. It's fantastic, but also like okay, it feels like the context is bigger and then the haystack problem becomes more complicated and it hallucinates more in that 1 million. I'm
Mm.
not saying this always happens, but it feels like I get to the experience of like a long session, like, the 3 hour session. And it's just like, what's going, and then you clear it and everything's fine. It feels like you get to that point faster. You burn through tokens faster
Yep.
and you use your quota faster. And as a result, you can't get results that are usable in the same
Mm.
amount of time as you could with Sonnet 4.5 and 200K
Right.
tokens for the way that I work. And I use a
Yeah.
lot of agent teams. So I thought it would be better for them. I think it's worse unless you can define that the agent teams get sent with like smaller context. But it does not look like one as a coordinator for Opus with 1 mil, not handy at all for agent teams. Your agents themselves going off and doing work, not handy for them either because
Yeah.
it's like split second. They're confused already because the context
Right.
fills up. And then thirdly, I actually think like this might be the wrong way to approach the
Hmm.
problem. Like it feels like deep research is the only place where 1 mil context window makes sense. And I don't have any proof. So
Hmm.
JTOP, let me know. But like that's how I feel
Yeah.
like it's working right now. But I'd like to hear otherwise. If all you're doing is research, I think this is a fantastic
Right.
like increase in context. It, if you're not though, I really don't think it's helpful. Like I was able to drop our slide template. So we've got a company account for
Hmm.
Claude. We can do a whole bunch of stuff. I was playing with 1 mil context window, and I put in all of the images from our template, which is a lot. Like it might be 200 images. It's a
Hmm.
lot. It chewed through them all in a million context window, no problem. Had no idea what it was doing. Couldn't recall anything. Didn't
Mm.
like font a reason. It's
Yeah.
Rubato. Come on, like nothing. It was just
Well.
it felt more useless than working on one at a time with a smaller
Yeah.
context window, or assigning like 200 agents,
Yeah.
one slide each. Give me a description, then we'll deal with the description.
Right.
Is probably the better way to approach this problem. But it could be that there are just other problems that I'm not working on that are
Yeah.
they're there. It felt great for research. Full stop. Like
Yeah.
I don't think I'd use it for anything else. The other thing I've been doing because we were talking about Tably and
Hmm.
oh shoot, search
Right.
ng or searching. I use those a lot actually for research because
Hmm.
I'm back in. I'm trying to be responsible, man. I'm trying to use plan
Hmm.
mode, especially with
Yeah.
Olama. I feel like plan
Yeah.
mode actually works really well. Like if you have a direction you're going in, this is way better
Right.
than you fapping about trying to figure things out. So I'll do the research elsewhere and bring it in. But Sonnet has a research mode and it has like a web search bar in your API
Hmm.
that you can watch. I don't think that web search is good. I actually
Mm.
feel like pointing it at searching is better. And I'll tell you why. It seems like the internet is not a friendly place for agents anymore. And a lot of
Hmm.
times when it's like sprawling through and trying to grab things, I don't know if it's actually respecting robots.txt anymore. But like GitHub, for example, it'll try to browse GitHub. And generally for me, it will fail like
Hmm.
10 times out of 10. It'll say, I can't get to GitHub. I was like, well, I told you to try searching. Did you try searching? I'm like, oh, look at it magically works. Like, yeah, I wonder why. It's like, and it's, I know personifying my agent is dumb, but like, it feels like we just talked
Yeah.
about this. Like, there's a memory, you're supposed to use it first, or maybe the Apple OS permissions are bad and I got to approve something again, but that happens quite a bit. But it feels like the research mode is actually better with like Brave API also works really
Hmm.
well. Brave, Tably,
Hmm.
searching something else that is not Claude, because it feels like Claude's being blocked. I have a feeling that things are going to change on the internet. We've probably talked about this a bit, but like the free internet feels like it's coming to a halt or something. Like
Hmm.
it, the way you browse the
Oh,
site
yeah.
and grab data, and then I generate something from the data that you gave me for free without giving you
Yeah.
any money, and then I'm like, look at this cool thing I did. It's like,
Right.
yeah, that's half of Matt's blog and other Matt's blog. And you shove them together, and now it's your content. Like
Yeah.
that's not the same thing.
Right.
All right,
Hmm.
time for checkouts. Have I
Well,
talked enough?
I actually have a few things. I've got this list of
Oh
things I
shit!
want to
Oh
mention.
shit! Oh shit! I took up
So
all the air, and Matt hasn't had a chance to talk. You
so
caught the
first
bear
off,
2 weeks in a row. I wasn't ready for this.
did you see Apple bought Motion VFX? Do you care about that kind of stuff?
I was thinking Remotion. I
No.
do actually.
Yeah, so Motion VFX does plugins for Final Cut, but also
Right.
for Resolve and Premiere.
Oh,
Apple just bought them. And now on the Motion VFX site, there's no mention of Resolve and Premiere plugins.
I mean, I
Ah,
wonder if that was part of the deal
yeah,
one
yeah,
day ago.
yeah.
Yeah, so the first comment on Redditor, I think, nailed exactly what I was thinking. I think Apple was trying to get exclusive content for their premium subscriptions, like templates
Yep,
and designs for their
yep.
creative apps. And we
I
we called this. I like maybe you
yeah,
called this, and I just nodded.
I don't.
But like, it does feel like that subscription has to have something extra
Yeah,
in it in order for me to pay for it.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I kind of hope that doesn't happen because
Hmm.
it kind of makes my $800 I pay each year for their plugins. It's like, well, give me my refund if I'm gonna get it for $12 a month. Give me a refund for the other,
But you
$700.
might have also lost access to using it elsewhere too, right?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But
Do
anyway,
you
so
edit
that's
videos in Final Cut? You
oh
don't, right?
yeah, I have
Resolve
Final
mostly?
Cut.
Oh, you do. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay. Okay.
yeah. I wouldn't want to downgrade to anything
You're
else.
not getting a refund.
Yeah. um, and then did you see that? So OpenClaw, one of
Yep.
the during the onboarding process, one of the
Right.
things that was always missing from the onboarding was Olama. You couldn't onboard and just say Olama. Um,
Oh, yes. Sorry,
yeah,
I happen to know about something else, but yes, you cannot. Correct. I
right.
feel like you're going to tell me
Until
something I might
Friday.
know. Oh, oh
So
shit! Not the Olama onboarding, not Olama install
not
OpenClaw.
Olama onboarding, but on
Okay,
the OpenClaw onboarding.
nice.
Bruce on the Olama team pushed a nice PR to OpenClaw. So now when you do the install, Olama is one of the options,
That is
which is
fantastic
great.
because that's exactly what I wanted when I installed
Yeah,
it. I did not want it reaching out
yeah.
to any API. Yeah,
And so
that's
I mean,
fantastic.
before you kind of had to set it up with another model because you needed to set up Olama and you couldn't figure out how to set up Olama without some other model telling you how to set up Olama. So you get rid of that other model.
Literally what I did.
Yeah.
I had Claude Code use the
Yeah.
Olama OpenAI API compatible
Right.
endpoint in order to pretend it was
Right.
OpenAI in
And
order
you
to complete
don't
the install.
want it to use the OpenAI. I mean, they tell you don't use the OpenAI compatible endpoint for Olama because it's
Oh,
not as good as the native
oh,
one.
oh shit. Oh shit. I didn't know
Um,
any of that. I'm so
So that
sorry.
was actually
Really?
before like
Oh,
a few weeks ago. I think they changed
okay.
said that
Gotcha.
because there's a lot of things you can't do. Like OpenCode
It's like
only
tool
uses the
calls,
open.
right?
Well, tool calls are fine,
Or,
but you can't change the
okay.
context size because that's not something that's in the OpenAI API.
Okay.
And
I've run up against
so
that a lot of
yeah,
times. Okay.
and well, that's one of the annoying things about OpenCode. You have to say either globally set the
Right.
context size to something, which doesn't make sense,
Not at all.
or create a new model. Just say set the context size to whatever you want for that particular thing, and then use a
Or
smaller
or
context
different
size for
folders
everything
have
else.
different
Yeah,
open code settings files. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's awful.
So
That's really
that
cool.
yeah, so that was interesting. Um, did you see there was a video by, I think this is something that's more something you care about, by
I care about OpenGL. Don't get me wrong.
Corridor Crew
Corridor Crew.
about
No.
green screen, and the guy created a better green
Have,
screen software.
have we not talked about Corridor Crew and green screens, or was it?
No, this was like a new video that he put out like just in the last week.
I fixed green screens. I see it.
Yeah,
It took me 30 years to solve this problem 9 days ago. Right
yeah,
on.
pretty cool.
Huh. Yeah.
Check that out. I saw there was a cool video on Starship on like, because do you use Starship for your prompt, for like a CLI prompt?
Are you talking about my favorite band in the 80s or
What was their song?
Stop us now?
Oh yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah, yeah, yeah,
it's
yeah,
Grace Slip
yeah,
from Jefferson Airplane Starship that then
yeah,
begat
yeah, yeah.
Starship. Yeah, nothing's gonna stop us now. We built this city on rock and roll. I think it was the other.
Right.
Anyway,
What was the
yes,
one? What was
I
the
do use
band
Starship.
that was one guy in Boston? Oh, it was Boston.
I was like, is it not
The
Boston?
yeah, no, the group Boston was one guy in his basement, and then when they went on tour, they had to hire other people to be more than just the
Yeah,
one
such
guy.
a musicians.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I do use Starship. I think what I like about Starship is it seems to work everywhere. So if
yeah.
I'm using Matt's favorite shelf, the one that smells like
Fish.
fish, that'd be fine. But I've been going back and forth
Yeah,
between Newshell, ZSH, Bash, and Fish because I'm trying to
right.
find which ones LLMs
So
don't understand.
it had a few timeout settings which were pretty useful for me, because I often
Okay.
get, every now and then I will start up my machine and say error, 5 seconds spent trying to understand
Right.
something in Starship.
Right.
And I think those might solve. I mean, every now and then I'd go in and like, okay, disable that little chunk.
Mm.
Um, and there was a neat video on like the best small Starship configuration
Yeah.
that went through a whole bunch of these settings. Like, oh,
Was
I've
it
been using
scan or
Starship forever.
command?
Huh?
Yeah. Which one was it? Was the scan timeout for the scan
Scan
files or
timeout,
the
I think.
command?
Scan timeout,
Okay.
and
When
there
it
was
starts
another
up,
timeout. Yeah, that I didn't know
there's
existed.
no.
And even there's
Yeah,
also pretty recently I saw something else, that
that's
there's an
cool.
explain command. So Starship
Oh
explain,
shoot!
and it'll
Really?
show you how long each of the little segments takes,
Oh,
which is amazing.
oh, it is really cool. Holy shit! My favorite command in Cloud Code is WTF. Or sorry, it's not WTF. It's BTW. But to me, it might as well be WTF because I'm like, what the actual heck is going on? I use it so much. It's like,
Right,
what
right,
are the agent teams doing?
right.
I love Explain because I literally use a lot of these tools to
Yeah,
learn things. Like I didn't learn all that shit stuff.
yeah,
Sorry, stuff about Elixir on my own. Like a
yeah.
lot of it was through discovery with an agent. This is fantastic.
So then I saw another one.
Nice.
So another video I saw recently was a comparison of. So I knew about CMUX because I mentioned it last time, but they were
Right.
comparing CMUX to Conductor and Superset.
I did not watch that video, but did see it come up my feed.
Yeah,
What did you think?
but then I did not fully watch that because I found
Okay.
another tool, which I
Oh
think is
shoot.
also really cool,
Okay.
but it's not totally. It's free for for 4 projects at a time, but it's and then it costs, costs too much. It's
Okay.
called Solo.
Oh, I thought you were going to go down the wave terminal path. I was like, I've looped in
No,
here before. So
Solo.
hmm,
I don't know if it's gonna come up quickly
is
on.
it solo.io?
Could be. I don't know.
They do have an AI gateway. Interesting.
Um,
Wow.
no,
Stateless, event-driven, declarative API systems? That
no.
sounds pretty cool. Different
That
Solo?
sounds pretty cool, but
Does.
Solo. No, I
Solo
don't.
system? No, that's Radier.
Solo.
Solo agent?
CMOX. It's a terrible
Solo
name.
term. It's solo term.
Solo term?
Yeah, solo term. And it's not open
No,
source,
it
as far as I can tell.
is. It is. Oh, soloterm.com. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's pretty cool.
And this is a total aside, but like, are we coming back around to white backgrounds? Because there's their demo has like all white background tools, and I'm
Oh,
thinking
good.
this is
So
not how you
is
get devs.
this is this that is I spend a while, making sure my ghosty is all with a white background.
Really?
I do that all the time. Yeah,
You are the person who dislikes the black background.
I hate backgrounds. It hurts my eyes.
Oh, oh, there we go. There we go.
I always have black text on a white background.
There you go. Well, it's got something called Raycast integration, so it feels like
Yeah,
that might be interesting for you.
it's a
Uh,
pretty cool.
90 bucks a year,
Yeah,
100
that's
bucks a year for a terminal. Like
it.
I
That
would give
seems a
iTerm
bit
to that.
much, but I think
No,
for the four
no, no.
projects,
I use the terminal all day. I don't tell the iTerm creators, but I would pay them 100 bucks a year. No problem. Just keep that between
but
us.
it's not so much a term. I mean, because it'll use Ghosty if you want to use Ghosty, or it'll use
Oh,
whatever terminal you want in there. Um, but it's um, because it's got
is it a terminal manager?
kind of a terminal manager workspace. You have
Yeah, yeah,
your
yeah.
links to all
Like
your
Evernote.
agents, and then as you click each one, it goes to that page,
Hmm.
and then maybe all your commands. So having a long running process for the background to start up the web server, and or to Astro Dev or whatever you want, running in the background, but that's available as a separate, almost like a tab, if you have the tabs on the left side. I don't
Okay,
know if they count as tabs, but because I
so
think you can also have tabs on the top.
I do see that. Do you remember M Remote NG? Does that ring
No.
a bell? It's a like a battleship where like it has your command, like
Yeah.
all your command line stuff. It's got RDP, it's got
Okay.
BNC, it's got all that stuff together. It's kind of like an ops
Yeah.
battle
Okay.
station. This is very similar.
Yeah.
Not a bad thing. It's a great thing. And Remote NG, I think, is open source. Blah blah blah
Hmm.
blah blah. This, however, my friend, is a Tauri or Tori app, which is
Yeah.
a Rust runner for a
Right.
freaking web front end that they've packaged a website as an
Yeah.
app and are selling it back to you. The other thing, since we've mentioned black hat hacking during this,
Right.
because it's Tauri, you can absolutely look at that
Yeah.
bundle, and then like it won't have labels on your function calls because they probably minified it, but like
Right.
they're shipping their code to you, which is like kind of odd.
Yeah.
The other thing is that Tauri doesn't support Chrome. It only supports
Oh.
Safari on Mac OS. So it's slow as hell. Like Electron's
Hmm.
actually faster, which is man, it's
Right.
saying a lot.
Right.
It's saying a lot. I love yeah.
Hmm.
Electron's okay. But Tauri is not faster than
Yeah.
Electron.
Yeah.
And they're saying it's a benefit. It's not yet a benefit. It will be a
Yeah.
benefit in months once they port V8 to Tauri on Mac, but it's
Right.
not yet the case. However, it means that you get like basically native integration between that app and your
Yeah.
operating system, and it's generally pretty fast as long as the site loads. That's pretty cool. This is neat.
So yeah.
Wow,
What
thank you.
else do I have? And then something I saw, but I haven't played with at all. Uh, I had done a video 6 months to a year ago about Unsloth. For fine
Yes,
tuning.
yes, many
There's
times.
apparently
Yeah.
an Unsloth studio. I don't know if
Oh
Unsloth
no.
Studio has been there a long time or if it's a new thing,
Huh.
but I just saw that.
3 hours ago.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's when the docs got updated. It said,
Okay.
yeah.
Um,
I don't know if that's when the docs were made, but the
yeah,
docs were
yeah,
updated 3 hours ago for this. Very cool.
yeah. And then one
I'm
other
not.
thing I saw that was interesting was ngrok.ai.
Yes, I know Ingrok. Yep.
But ngrok.ai as
Oh,
like a um, middleman for
oh
your
no.
AI.
Yeah, another model multiplexer. So we got
Yeah,
terminal multiplexing, and then
yeah,
we got like model
yep,
multiplexing, which is what this is.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So like model routing is
yeah.
one of those things, right? API
With
or AI,
with
sorry,
a
gateways. Yep.
yeah, kind of a gateway, so that then you can also hook up observability or other tools in the middle.
And it's got OpenRouter in here as well as
Hmm.
Azure Foundry, and I think, well, actually, if you add in Amazon, who's not in here, With
Hmm.
OpenRedder and Azure Foundry, you've got most of the models.
Yeah,
Wow,
it's pretty cool.
that's cool. That is very cool. Yeah, I think OpenRedder has over 60 providers.
Hmm.
Oh, if you scroll right down to the bottom though on this, they kind of stole a scene out of a TV show, Severance. Interesting.
Huh.
On the ngrok.ai. That's
Mhm.
like definitely generated in the Severance
Hmm.
kind of style. Interesting. We're getting into a weird area where I'd like to say I can't tell that things are AI, but like this is looks pretty AI generated to me.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So anyway,
Have you
that's
played
all
with
I
any
got.
of these tools?
No,
Have you played with this one?
solo,
Okay.
yes. Solo, I've been
Solo.
playing around with, and that's really cool, but not ngrok.
I think you could build a better solo.
Yeah.
I think you and I,
Yeah.
Matt, need to start a war. Do you want me to tell you what
I
kind of war we're going to start?
what's that?
I'll make it like there's no politics involved. The war you and I are best equipped to fight is the one that is against scan codes for USB keyboards to zoom in and zoom out of your Forsaken editor in Dvorak or Comac or Workman or whatever. You know what I'm talking about. If I want to zoom in and hit like Shift plus, it should
Oh
just
yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Like it should follow the
Yeah.
labels on my keyboard,
Right.
not whatever USB signals coming out of the back end of it. Like it doesn't
Right.
make any
Yeah.
sense at all.
Yeah.
This happened. I was so embarrassed the other day just trying to zoom in and out a cursor. I
Yeah.
got it so small, couldn't do anything, and I was like in a Zoom call. It was terrible. But I feel like this is one of those things that we could probably teach solo, and that you would be able to fork and get better if.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting. This is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It is beta as well. It has been
Which
signed and notarized, which
which
is that
is
means they
what
paid
are
the
we talking
100
about
bucks.
now? Are we talking about solo?
Solo.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sold on solo. Like
Yeah.
this is, yeah, any type of battle station manager is
Yeah.
or workstation manager is like up my alley for sure. I just have too many computers to manage them all.
Yeah.
So like anything that can grab all the shortcuts and bookmarks all in one app is,
Yep.
yeah, it's a catnip for me.
So
Shoot,
that's
we're over
all I got.
time. You had a
Yeah.
lot of checkouts there.
So well, okay. So it's one checkout I
Here
do
we go.
have.
Here we go.
Did I mention PBS last week?
Maybe not.
Okay. So PBS, a public broadcasting system, or
PBS. PBS.
PBS. Yeah.
You're saying PPS. PBS.
PBS.
Okay, gotcha.
P as in Paul, B as in
Peanut butter
bastard.
sandwich.
Peanut butter
No,
sandwich.
peanut butter
Yes,
sandwich.
PBS.
Keep it, for the kids.
That's right. I didn't think of peanut butter sandwich. So the reason I mention that is that this show has been apparently available for a year in other countries, but it's coming in the U.S. It's showing up on PBS, and I think it's being on like PBS broadcasts starting next month, I think. But it was been streaming this month. A newer version of Count of Monte Cristo.
Oh, interesting.
So it's 8 episodes,
So
8 or 9
British,
episodes.
I would assume. Okay.
It is, and it is fantastic.
Oh.
In fact, I mean, like if you're in the US, it's to get the streaming app, and it seems to be like streaming apps for each of the regional areas. So I got PBS Cascade, and it was, as long as you're giving PBS $5 a month, you get this streaming app, and it includes all of Count of Monte Cristo and all of other Masterpiece Theater programs. And,
Right. I was about to ask. It says Masterpiece, but it's the same as Masterpiece Theater. Okay, that was PBS.
I think that's just
okay.
the rebrand of Masterpiece.
The brand.
Yeah.
Gotcha. This looks phenomenal.
It was fantastic. I mean, it's not like a direct take of the book, but which I would say, I mean, I don't know if you've ever read the book.
Could be a good thing. I don't know the book. I never read it. I read an excerpt or something.
I would say it is the most perfect story ever written. It is fantastic. The book is amazing.
Sorry, you studied Russian literature?
The Count of Monte Cristo.
Listen, I haven't read Dostoevsky either, so I can't compare the two. But like, isn't the Count of Monte Cristo like a pretty long book?
It is. I read it when I was like 18 or 19, and I could not put it down. It was
really?
I mean, it was
oh wow. Because I can tell you what I absolutely can do. I can absolutely put Dostoevsky down multiple times.
No, I mean,
like take the book, put it on the table, never come back.
This was I remember it being a thick book and it was the thinnest paper I have ever had in a book with the smallest type, and yet
Like you could
I
see through
had to.
it.
Yeah, it was a lot of
So,
pages.
so this was I think the show might actually make more sense because it wasn't a book. It was more like it was
It
a
was a
serialized.
serial. Yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of like
yeah,
Sherlock Holmes or whatever. So
yeah,
yeah, maybe the book itself is a bunch of stories together. I can see why it's not short
yeah,
stories, but shorter stories.
yeah. I mean, but I mean, the book is totally worth reading, and it definitely takes a
Mhm.
different. I mean, like the ending is completely different. It ends happier in the TV program than it does in the book. But
Fair enough.
it's great. It was really great.
The cinematography
Yeah,
looks
it's gorgeous.
fantastic.
It is a gorgeous thing. I mean, I'll watch it again because it's
Stunning.
gorgeous to watch.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. All
Yeah,
right, that's a good checkout.
yeah. What you got?
Um, Phoenix Wright Attorney.
Phoenix Wright Attorney? What?
I'm recommending a child's game about lawyers. I think attorney, a lawyer,
Okay.
and essentially it's like a visual novel where you're given a case and you basically just kind of mouse around the screen and click on things and
Hmm.
collect evidence, talk to people, what have you, and then it generally culminates every episode. I say episodes because I think it used to be a manga and then an anime and then became a video game. At the end of every quote unquote episode or chapter in the thing, you get to go into a court and you get to argue and
Hmm.
you get to like shut your finger like say objection. It was kind of like the meme of the show, and then they'll ask you like what evidence do you have, and you make your case, and
Huh.
you either like you get a passing grade or you succeed or fail
Phoenix
basically
Wright
depending on.
Ace Attorney.
Yeah, and it's on sale for really really cheap.
Hmm.
I think on Switch, and it exists on a whole bunch of other things. I don't think it exists for iOS or iPad yet, but it's like how can I say this? It's a nice way to pass time that doesn't take too long. It's like it's easy to snack. I guess a lot of the games that I
Right.
like are snackable games, and it's pretty funny. I think it was translated pretty well. The graphics are pretty good for something that's kind of manga or anime inspired, and yeah, I think it's a good wholesome type of entertainment, and you might actually learn a little bit about law or at least how a courtroom
Hmm.
works, which is kind of handy too. I grew up watching Matlock, let's be honest, and maybe there's a little bit of that Matlock in me, the $5 hot dog and such. But yes, I think it's quite
It
good.
says there is an iOS version from the
Oh no way!
Wikipedia, but I don't see it listed.
Oh, maybe it's Japan only.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh no, no, the trilogy is there.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay, so the same trilogy. It's not on sale, but the same trilogy I'm playing
Hmm.
is available for iPad. It looks like
Yeah, I don't
iPad and
see
iPhone from Capcom. Yeah.
it doesn't come up for me.
And I said Phoenix Wright. There's two trilogies actually. There's
Hmm.
Phoenix Wright, and then I think the younger one is Apollo Justice, and then the newest one is Miles Edgewater. So I think there
Hmm.
might be 9 games in total.
Well,
But yeah,
yeah, it doesn't come up
it's
for me at
surprisingly
all.
fun. Okay, gotcha. Maybe it's a Canadian thing.
Yeah.
No, it says US. It's US. Oh,
Hmm.
I can send you a link.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, this is my checkout. If you want
Cool.
a snackable game about the law that is like kind of anime related, it's sort of a
Right.
kid story, not too many. Yeah, worth a look.
Hmm.
And also don't represent yourself in court, and do not bring ChatGPT or Claude along to
I,
defend you.
I played a game pretty recently that was pretty fun. It's Donut
Yeah.
something.
Oh,
You basically
donut.io.
you
Are you
take
the donut hole?
you have this hole that you like move around to like swallow up all the things. It's got a little story that's annoying, but once you get past the story part, it's kind of fun, like just swallowing up everything that's
Donut County.
could be. Yeah,
I think it is. Yeah, and all you're doing is moving the hole around, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. It's Donut County.
yeah,
And I think this is, yeah, iOS. It's pretty much everywhere. It's kind of
yeah.
like one of those snackable games. They said you can actually play it on Apple TV too, which is kind of
Hmm.
interesting. But yeah, I can get it on Switch, Xbox
I
One,
played
Android,
it on
iOS.
Xbox. Yeah,
Oh, was it part of your
yeah, on the TV.
your thing? Yeah,
Yeah.
right. You heard that they canceled that. This is an Xbox advertising campaign.
No, what's
Did,
that?
did you know about this campaign?
I didn't
Oh,
know,
okay,
but yeah.
Matt, this is an Xbox. Huh? Are you waiting for it? This is an Xbox. That was a whole campaign. And I think what they were trying to say is like Xbox can run anywhere. Like the service itself could run on a Mac, could run on Windows, could run on anything. But like it was kind of like I could pick up a potato and say, this is an Xbox. Be like, Xbox is a potato. It's really slow. Anyway, they stopped the whole brand because it was like ill-advised. It feels like
Yeah.
something that they maybe had Gen AI help them with. And like, I don't need that from anybody. This is an Xbox. That's an Xbox. I'm
Yeah.
brilliant. Whatever. Ship it. It's going to be great. Anyway, they canceled this brand. It feels like Microsoft's doing a little bit of damage control right
Yeah.
now. I don't know, on the Xbox
Yeah.
brand side and on the Copilot brand side.
Yeah, did a bunch of people leave recently?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I can't say.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I
Anyway.
know that the people that I know who used to work there still work there.
Okay.
But yes.
As far as you know.
We may have hired somebody from Microsoft. That's all I'm trying to say. The industry is really big.
Yeah.
People change jobs all the time. I have not heard of any mass layoffs or
Okay.
mass leaving of Xbox yet.
We're here to start rumors.
Hopefully, well, that's what I'm
Yeah.
trying to say. Like, hopefully that doesn't happen this year.
Yeah.
It's a new year. We're gonna turn over a new leaf.
Yeah.
Copilot CLI. If I didn't
Copilot CLI.
recommend it already,
Yeah.
definitely check it out. I'm not saying that this is gonna change the Copilot brand, but if you like SQL and if you like to think of everything as a database, this might be for you. If you're trying to use Dolt out of anger for
Yeah.
Gastown,
Hey,
and you've
do you know
decided
about
that Git sucks,
Terso?
but SQL's better. Terso, yes, I do. The database
Yeah,
one?
SQLite's
Terso?
alternative.
Yes.
Drop-in replacement, but more scalable.
Yes. What do you think of SQLite?
I mean, it's been a great default. It's easy to set up. As long as you don't have really big needs, it's great.
It's hard to argue with all that because I've been using SQLite for quite a few things. And I think like the the Copilot CLI is probably influencing me there a little bit.
Yep.
But it does feel like it's a better way of using like a markdown to-do or something like that because like your to-do.md, I don't know if you've tried this method before, but it gets to 30,000 lines real quick in just a small project. And it feels like that you're in database territory at that point in time. And I've been using SQLite or Dolt or whatever smaller databases to put them in there. But it feels like adding that extra, think about SQL first, query the database, get the answer is helpful because a lot of times when it would read the to-do, it would like pick the line above it or check off the wrong item or like, what do you, like this is a text file. It's so easy, but at least in SQL, they'll select the right row, they being the models here, and then check it off correctly, like a database to-do list or what have you. Seems to be a pattern that maybe it's emerging, but that's definitely what Copilot CLI is doing.
Right.
And I really don't like Dolt, the database. I don't like the name for it. Maybe I just have fallen out of love with Git, but like the way Git and agents work, they're not conducive. It's like exactly what I've seen in merge request hell at work, like at Caterpillar, at Samsung. Like you got 50 agents working on code in the same code base, same code folder. They're going to have 50 different versions of the README, your main.rs or whatever it is. It's such a massive pain. And it feels like moving away from Git, moving more towards something that's got like a transaction log is good, or even just having a log of what you're doing is better. Anyway, food for thought, but that's kind of where I am. No Dolt, SQLite forever.
I covered all my things.
Holy shit, like, that's 2 weeks in a row. This is amazing. And no AI was involved as far as I can tell because he wrote it down.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Oh, shoot, we're 15 over. That's an epic episode. All right, folks. Hopefully you get some value out of this. It looks like 6 people stayed the whole time, which is that's got to be a first.
Or they come in and out.
6 bots.
And 1 or 2 stayed the whole time, and a whole bunch of people said, "This is stupid."
I mean, that's totally fair. We did talk about donut holes for a minute.
Yeah, we did. Alrighty. Thanks so much for joining us. Bye.
Yes, thank you, Anthony and Jay Topham. Have a great day.
Oh, yeah.